Welcome everybody to another episode of the SRU podcast with me and my guy Will Royal. We got a special guest, the
Yes,
leader
sir.
of the Hampton Hoops or Hampton Sports podcast. I forgot rebrand.
Rebrand now. It's all good,
Yeah.
bro. I'm happy to be here with you fellas. I'm excited to talk some football, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bryce has been hyping this up for a good while now. So
Hey,
it's nice to finally see your face on the podcast.
Yeah, he got me in the podcast game. I had to get him on here, man.
I don't know if there's too much to hype up, Will, but I'm excited to be here, man. I'm excited to be here. And thank you for having me, Bryce. And I'm just glad you're doing this, man. You've been killing it. I've been tapped in, bro.
No problem, man. I got a question for you. You gotta tell the people
All right, let's do it.
who's your college football team this year and beyond that.
I'm going to start. This is going to be confusing at first, but I'm going to start with the word unfortunately. I'm a Tennessee Volunteers fan. Yes, I chose this life. I've lived this life. I'm 22 years old, so I've never seen, the Tennessee teams of old. But it's my ride or die, man, and it's looking up right now. But I'm nervous as hell going into this week, especially with the Florida game.
Yeah, I feel you. You know, I'm an Arkansas fan, so I'm in the same boat with you. We've had some good seasons since I've been alive, but like not in the past like we used to be, like in the '60s.
And then there's me, who's had it
Yeah, I was just
2007.
I was about to say, man.
Yeah.
Well, it must be nice, man. It must be nice.
Yeah. Not all of my teams can win championships. I can't lie to you.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with this first game. We have Clemson, number 4, 3-0, versus at Wake Forest, number 21, 3-0. It's an 11 o'clock game, Central Time, and it's on ABC. Clemson had a controversial. Well, no, my bad. They conveniently beat La Tech 48-20 at home last week, and Wake Forest beat Liberty in a close game last week with a 37-36 victory at home. We have DJ. Honestly, I'm going to butcher his name.
Don't even try. Don't even try.
I'm going to butcher the crap out of his name because I couldn't tell you what it is. But I did see his brother play when he came down to play Allen because he went to St. John Bosco and his brother attends there now. But he has a 57 to 88 completion with a 64.8 completion percentage with 662 yards this year, 5 touchdowns and 1 interception. It's not a good DJ that people thought he would be when he was coming into college, but it's better than last year, we can say that. And we got my boy, Sam Hartman. You know, Will, I've been on the Sam Hartman train all season long. I'm glad he's back and he's able to play. He has a 44 to 71 completion with a 62 completion percentage with 625 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. So this game, I honestly think Clemson. I hate to go against my guy Sam Hartman, but I think Clemson has this game. But I feel like this game will be pretty close in the long run. But I'm gonna take Clemson this game. I feel like the talent of Clemson is just going to overshadow Wake Forest's talent this year. But yeah, I'm gonna have to take Clemson this game. Will.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I think Clemson's a better team. Looking at the spread right now, they're a 7-point favorite over Wake Forest. As much as I love Sam Hartman, I know you've been hyping him up all year. Even though he said first came out with injury, came back. And this was a Wake Forest team that did sort of struggle with Liberty last week, but we can't really talk about that. Clemson also, in the beginning, struggled with Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
But I think Clemson all around is a better team. They have a better defense. Bryce Breeze has been unbelievable, and I know this last week has been hard for him. So prayers up for him. So, but regardless, I'm taking Clemson in a somewhat close game. I think it's going to be a little bit more, one-sided towards the end, but I think Clemson has a better shot at Wake this week.
When I look at this game, man, like these are two teams I really don't know a ton about yet because, like you said, man, DJ, like I'm not sold on him. Sam Hartman, Bryce, I know you're sold, but I've never been there with Wake Forest. I get they were in that ACC championship game last year against Pitt, but I feel like this is a telltale game for both of these teams. we're going to see if Clemson's a top 5 team, which I don't think they are.
Yeah.
And we're going to see if Wake Forest is in contention for the ASC title, which I can't answer that question. Yeah. Clemson's a 7-point favorite, man. I think they win too. I don't see them covering that spread, though. I think it's a tight one.
Yeah, honestly, just Wake Forest doesn't have the talent, and they've never really had the talent to compete with Clemson. So I'm with y'all. Clemson is just very talented. Prayers up to Bryce Brees. He lost his sister last week, and I know it's hard to lose a sibling. But Clemson is just by far the favorite to me, and I don't think it's any competition. But we do have a big game this next game. You know I have to rep them this week. This is my Dallas-Fort Worth team. We got the Battle of the Iron Skillet with TCU, who's 2-0, just came off a bye, and it's at SMU, who's 2-1. This game is at 11 a.m. Central Time on ESPNU. Like I just said, TCU came off a bye, and they assaulted Tarleton State. We left that game at halftime because how bad it was starting to get. They won 59-17, and SMU's coming off a loss to Maryland. So we might see SMU coming off hard, trying to prove that they deserve to be one of the top teams in AAC, because they just lost 34-27 to Maryland. So Max Duggan, the TCU quarterback, this will be his second start of the year. He is 25 for 35 with 78.1% completion with 417 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions, even though all those stats is from a terrible team in Tarleton State. But we have Tanner Mordecai, the QB for SMU. He's 70 for 117 with 59.8% completion passing yards with 1,013 yards already, which is ridiculous for me. He has 10 touchdowns and 3 interceptions this year. This game, you know I have to roll with my guys, the Horned Frogs up in Fort Worth, man. I can't do my guy JP like that. Yeah. TCU, you know, they have a Big 12 defense. Tarleton State was moving the ball a little bit against them, but SMU, I don't think their defense is any better, even though I'm pretty sure SMU is the favorite for this game. TCU, I feel like they're a bigger team and in a bigger conference, so I'm going to take TCU this game. Jack, how do you feel about this game?
Man, I hate to go a different way, take another side with your boy, but I'm crossing over, man. I'm going SMU. I haven't seen much of either team, but I don't know. I'm feeling the Mustangs in this one. Will, how you feeling, bro?
Well, before I start, I just got the alert from Shams that different sport, but Ime Udoka has been suspended for the season with all of his allegations. That just dropped.
Big.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Although this is played at SMU, this is basically not a road game for TCU because they're so close. Looking at the line, TCU is a 2.5-point favorite, and I think Max Duggan is a better quarterback. I mean, SMU is not bad. They just played up against a good Maryland team with Talia Tagovailoa as their quarterback. But I think on paper, TCU, they're a Big 12 school. They should be winning this game. Even though the matchup prediction says that SMU is slightly favored, it's like 51 to 48%. But I'm still going to take TCU. I think that this is going to be somewhat of a close game in the first half, but I think TCU is going to break away. SMU is going to catch up, but in the end, there's going to be too much for the Ponies, and TCU is going to win.
The thing about SMU, they're known for like a high-power offense, so they would fit well against a Big 12 team. So, and that 1,000 yards in the third game of the season, like in total, is crazy to me. That's basically 300 yards a game, passing yards a game. Sounding like some Mississippi State passing right there, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, don't get me started on my alma mater, man. I don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah. Hey, you're good. We don't have their game on here this week. We had them last week.
Understandably so. They're not going to be on this list anytime soon, dog.
Hey,
it's the same old thing.
They might. Speaking of Mississippi State, I have beef with one of y'all biggest fans, Brandon Walker. He was talking so much trash about Arkansas this week He's saying that we're going to lose the next 4 games and lose to BYU, Mississippi State, this game against Texas A&M, which we will get into soon, and to Alabama. Honestly, I see us probably going 3-1 at worst. I can see us going 1-3, but I don't see us going 1-3. I hope we go 4-0, but we'll talk about that when we get there. But yeah, Brandon Walker, I have beef with that man. Honestly, I would love to be a secretive Mississippi State fan because of you, but he makes it hard for me to root for y'all at all. So, but that's my Mississippi State tangent right there.
Bro, I went to a Mississippi State Tennessee game. I sat in Tennessee student section with an orange shirt on, and then went to school Monday for Mississippi State. So no, I do not care. Don't worry, man.
Yeah, but yeah, this SMU TCU game, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'm going TCU for sure, just because bigger conference, and they're coming off a rest, and basically they were coming off a 2-week rest because they just played a trash team 2 weeks ago. So I feel like they should be fine. They don't have their starting quarterback from the first game with Chandler Morris. Me and him have some beef. Well, me and his dad have beef, but I'm going to leave him out of it. But we're going to go to this next game. I know you're going to like this game, Jack. It is Florida, who's number 20, 2-1 at Neyland Stadium, Tennessee, number 11, 3-0 at 2:30 p.m. Central Time on CBS. Jack, I know you ready for this game. We've talked about this pre-pod. Florida's coming off a close win against an inferior team in UCF. I mean, not UCF, USF. With the 31-28 win, and Tennessee just obliterated Akron with the 63-6 win. Anthony Richardson, the first game he was doing great, but ever since then he really fell off a cliff. He has 0 touchdowns this year, which is crazy. 4 interceptions, 421 passing yards, and a 53% passing, and with 41 and 77 completion percent ratio. And Hendall Hooker is looking great. Honestly, he's looking like a black horse when it comes to the Heisman with the 59 to 85 completions with 69.4 percentage, 844 yards, which is great for 3 games, and 6 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. This game is an easy pick for me. I'm going Tennessee. Anthony Richardson hadn't really showed me anything since the first game, and Florida just coming off, they're coming off a close game against a team that shouldn't even be in the same league as them. Arkansas just did the same thing, but Tennessee is an easy pick for me. How about you, Will? I know you're going to hate to pick Tennessee because I know it's coming.
Yeah, as much as I hate it, I would rather see Tennessee win than have to wear an Arkansas merch and sing the fight song. So I'm taking Tennessee. They're a 10.5-point favorite. Hosting Florida, and like you said, Anthony Richardson may be like the ultimate tease when it comes to great players. Yes, he had a good game against Utah. He struggled with Kentucky, and he struggled even more with South Florida. He has 0 touchdowns in 3 games. To me, and everyone's talking about him winning the Heisman. Personally, he's probably one of I don't even know where I'm going with this. Hendon Hooker. Okay, yeah, that's where I'm going. Hendon Hooker, I think, is a far better quarterback, and possibly, in my opinion, the second best quarterback in the SEC East behind Will Levis. Stetson Bennett to me is just overrated, and we've seen Spencer Rattler kind of get exposed. So I think Tennessee is going to win this one pretty easily. The fact that game day is going there over Duke, Kansas, which I wanted to see so badly, but I think Tennessee is going to mop Florida, and I think this is the part of the season where we see Florida kind of show that they're not as good as we thought they were. That the Utah game was just a fluke.
And it's unfortunate for Florida, man, because I'm going to start off by picking Tennessee, and then I'm going to kind of unravel from there. But Utah, like that Florida game, like Billy Napier, it's looking like, early coach of the year, week 1. They get a massive win in the swamp. Then Will Levis goes there and waves goodbye to them. And then they struggle with South Florida, man. But I feel like it's time with how inconsistent Anthony Richardson has been the last 2 years. People forget we're putting Tennessee on this pedestal right now, but their defense, in my opinion, I've watched this team week in, week out. It's the same old defense as last year. There's nothing there. Our offense is absolutely electric, and we will put up points, but I think Florida puts up points as well. It's time for Anthony Richardson to have a good game. I don't think it's going to be enough, but I think they cover the spread, unfortunately, 10.5. I see Tennessee winning this game, but a stat that keeps ringing in my mind, Tennessee has lost this matchup 16 of the last 17 years, and that's what scares me. Florida always plays their best, no matter if they have a good team or not, but I'm taking my Tennessee Volunteers again.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Jack. You always say, well, you told us that Florida always has a good game against Tennessee. So, yeah, you always say that Florida has a good game against Tennessee. But so I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Richardson pops off this game. But I really don't see Florida winning this game at all, just because Tennessee has looked good for the first 3 games of the season and looking like they could win the SEC East. So, honestly, and Will, when we did our SEC preview, I said this is the beginning of the end for Florida. And then I retracted it after week 1. So maybe I should just stick with my predictions because usually they do come true. I ain't going to lie to you.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the beginning of the end of Florida. We kind of saw that post Urban Meyer, and this has been the slow rebuild back up. Yes, they struggled on the I'm blanking on his name. Why am I Dan? The former
Dan Mullen.
Dan Mullen, thank you. Yeah, they did struggle on him, and they have. Why am I struggling with names today? Billy Napier.
Yeah.
Billy Napier.
I do think this is the true Florida we're going to see at least for the next year and a half.
Yeah.
The Tennessee Pitt game is what's been staying in my head because we beat the crap out of 2 well inferior teams. We did what we were supposed to do, but Pitt's quarterback. They were up 10-0, and then he goes down halfway through the second quarter, I believe, and we eventually take control, and then it goes into overtime with their hobbled backup quarterback, and we squeak away and cover that Pitt game. That's what concerns me because our defense showed so much lack of ability there. I don't think Pitt, with their backup quarterback, I don't think their offense is as good as Florida's offense, even though Florida tends to turn the ball over a lot here lately.
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, but, I've been waiting to get to this game. To me, this is the best game of the weekend for sure. It is my team, the number 10 team in the nation, Arkansas. Some people say we shouldn't be number 10, but to me, hey, we're right where we need to be.
I'm glad I didn't have to say anything.
We do face Texas A&M, who's number 23, who lost to App State 2 weeks ago, who's 2-1 in the Southwest Classic at 6 p.m. Central Time on ESPN. So everybody better clock in. Don't really care. Everybody better watch this game. Arkansas is coming off a close call against Missouri State with a 38-27 win. We're not going to talk about that game. We already talked about that earlier.
I was FaceTiming you the whole time.
We talked about that earlier. Jack was getting the phone calls from me.
Don't think I wasn't calling Cooper, too. My best friend, he had predicted on the show that Arkansas was going to eclipse Alabama in the SEC West. And the blasphemy that was coming out of his mouth, I said, "What have you been drinking?" And, of course, he was sweating it, too. So you weren't the only person I was calling. I'm glad y'all won.
For those who don't know who Cooper is, he is on the left side of Jack in the picture on the left. Jack, you can't really see it, but it will be on the podcast. But, okay, yeah, that's Coop. That's my guy. And Texas A&M is coming from a low-scoring game against Miami. They won 17-9, but honestly, their offense isn't looking good since they switched QBs. But we'll talk about that once I get finished with the review. KJ Jefferson is 55 for 78 with a 70.5% completion, 770 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Mac Johnson, with his first start of the year, he's 13 for 24, 54.2%, 163 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions. So, y'all already know who I'm picking for this game. It's definitely Arkansas, WPS, Woo Pigs. But last week's game is not going to cut it against a big team like Texas A&M. I can see this game being close, but because it's close every year, like literally, even when we're trash, it's always a close game because we always come perform in Jerry World. Last year, we did pull away at the end, and we kind of embarrassed them a little bit. So I can see us bouncing back from last week. We did fumble the ball a lot last week. Turnovers was an issue, and our defense, we get Miles Slusher back, so that should help out our secondary a lot. And I heard that we're moving pieces around to fix that secondary because we run so many DBs, so most of them can play every position in the secondary. But Max Johnson, he's not really a mobile quarterback, and Arkansas is, I'm pretty sure they're leading the nation in sacks this year. So if he can't move, we might have this game. Well, if we make him move, we're gonna have this game. If he doesn't move and he's just picking off our secondary, we will be in for a long game. But Jack, I know you have a lot to say about this game.
I honestly don't, man. I'm on the same thing as you. I don't trust A&M right now. And it's not because of how great I think the Razorbacks are. It's just I don't think A&M's that good. I actually do think they made the right decision switching to Max Johnson. Haynes King had Johnny Manziel out here tweeting he's still got eligibility left. So it was a low life after losing to App State 2 weeks ago. They squeaked it out against Miami, but I think Arkansas takes care of business. They bounce back. I think KJ shows up big time.
Yeah. Well, I know you kind of want Arkansas to win because we could get game day at Fayetteville the week after. So let's hear it. Let's hear what you got to say.
So the line, Vegas knows something we don't because they have A&M as a 2-point favorite. But I still think Arkansas is a much better team. I think KJ Jefferson is a much better quarterback than either Haynes King or Max Johnson. I think they're going to come in blazing glory and just, I'm not going to say a blowout, but I'm probably going to say like between 10 to 20 point range. I think it's going to be a double digit, but it's going to be a low double digit margin of victory. And I think this is probably that statement when Sam Pittman wants heading into hosting Alabama the week after.
Yeah. The thing, we have gotten news that the 3 players that were suspended in the Miami game will be back, so that will help Texas A&M's offense. I heard Walter Nolan could be back this weekend, which is the number 1 overall recruit on one of the 3. He might have been on 2 of the 3 recruiting sites, but that will be big for Texas A&M for run defense because Arkansas does have the best rushing attack in the SEC this year. And really, Arkansas really have 2 dark horses for the Heisman this year in Raheem Sanders and KJ Jefferson. And this game could say a lot for both of those guys and the game after that. But all I got to say is watch out for Arkansas for the rest of the year because I feel like we're coming with vengeance. We play our best games when we are the underdog. It's been proven last year we did the same thing. But I've heard that we are underdogs this week. So I'm just going to say, Arkansas, we're coming for Alabama next week.
What is your win total for them this year? What do you see?
I think when we did our SEC preview, I'm pretty sure I had us winning 10 and losing 2 or something like that. I think I had us losing 2 games.
Will, how do you feel? What do you think their win total is?
I had them at I think 9-3 or 8-4 because the SEC West is very competitive. That's per usual.
That's how I feel too. That's how I feel too.
I might have even had us losing 1 game, honestly. But I'm biased, so you can't really say much about that.
No, I understand.
I
was just curious.
I'm pretty sure the only game I had us losing was Alabama. Because talent-wise, we actually could only lose 1 game. But schedule-wise, since we do have the hardest schedule in the nation for like the 3rd year straight, I feel like we might be banged up and lose 2 or 3 games this year.
The A&M game I have circled is the Alabama game, not because it's going to be competitive, because it's not going to be competitive, but all the smack talk in the offseason between Jimbo and Saban, A&M beating them last year. It's in Tuscaloosa this year. Saban score 120. Like it's gonna be so entertaining
Yeah.
to me just to see and I like do they shake hands? Like I'm here for all the drama between A&M and Alabama. I can't wait.
Yeah. And tickets already at like 200 minimum right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. Is that a home game for y'all, Will?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it this year, but I'll be there in spirit.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna lock in for that game, bro. I'm gonna lock in for sure.
Hey, you're gonna lock in for Saturday. It's gonna be a good game. Man.
Yeah.
I think Arkansas bounces back.
Yeah, man. I hope so. We better. Or we might not have an episode next week, honestly.
You're just shutting the pod down after that, huh?
Ask Will. I told Will when during the Missouri State game, Will was like, Bryce, if Arkansas loses, we're gonna have a lot to talk about. I was like, Will, if we lose, we're not having a pod anymore. I don't know what you're talking about. The pod's getting shut down for sure.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
All right, I'm gonna go to our next game. It's, we're gonna have to hop on the App State hype train a little bit because they do play James Madison University, who's actually a pretty good team, who just came. Well, did they just come from a FCS school?
Yeah, it's their first year.
Their first year, yeah. So they have experience being a top program. So I honestly think that they couldn't even win this game, but let me get to that in a second. So James Madison is 2-0 this year, just coming off a bye, and they play at App State, who's come off an incredible ending game last week, who is 2-1. This game starts at 2:30 Central Time on ESPN Plus. So if you don't have ESPN Plus, guys, I'm sorry for you. You gotta go ahead and get that subscription. It's actually a good investment if you like watching college football. But James Madison just destroyed Norfolk State 66-7 with the 2 weeks ago, and they're just coming off a bye, so they should be all fresh and ready for App State. App State just beat Troy 32-28 with a last-second Hail Mary at the end, where the receiver came out of nowhere, picked the ball out the sky, and ran it for a touchdown. Yeah, bro, I remember hearing about that game when it happened, and I was like, I got to see what this highlight is about.
Can you imagine going to that school the past 2 weeks? Like the last 2 weekends in Appalachian State, they flood the street after they beat A&M. It's just absolute pandemonium, and then the Hail Mary and College Game Day. And
yeah,
it's just, I don't know. I'm happy for them.
Yeah. So Todd Centillo for James Madison, he's 33 for 50, 66% with 452 yards, 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And a guy, I don't like his last name because he spelled it wrong, Chase Bryce. He's 62 for 100, 62% for completion, 773 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 1 interception. This game is hard for me because this is basically James Madison's biggest game of the year when it comes to first year being in the FBS. So, honestly, dang, this is hard. I want to pick James Madison just because they have a pretty high-power offense. But App State, they've been on the luck train right now, and I don't think their luck is running out after 3 games. So, dang. I'm going to have to go App State. Bro, in my mind, before the pod, I was like, I'm going to have to go James Madison this game. Will's going to go App State, and I'm trying to catch up to him because he's 2 games ahead of me. So, I'm going to go App State this game. Will, who do you got?
I'm going to take App State as well. They're a 7-point favorite coming in. And here's the thing people don't know about James Madison. At least, probably not a lot of people know about them. In the last 10 years, they're the only school not named North Dakota State to win an FCS championship. There may be one other school, but James Madison won it in 2019, 2020. They're a good, understated program. This is their first real test since coming up from FCS to FBS now in the Sun Belt. So I'm still going to take, but I'm still taking App State. It's at Kid Brewer Stadium in Boone. Chase Bryce put on a hell of a performance the last 2 weeks. I think he's going to carry that momentum going forward. This isn't going to completely rule out Todd Centillo because he's done a really good job so far. But I think Chase Bryce has done a lot better. He took out a top 10 school. Like, you can't go out and say he's done that from a small school like App State.
Yeah.
So I'm taking App State in probably a much more Not as exciting game as we saw with Troy last week, but still a good game.
I'm gonna have to go against the grain, man. I think the magic finally runs out. You have that the insane Hail Mary I've ever seen last week. You have that incredible upset against A&M. It's got to run out somewhere, and I think James Madison is that perfect letdown game. It's Division II opponent, even though they have had success in the FCS. I think App State, 2 mega emotional wins, man. It's got to run out somewhere. I'm picking James Madison.
Yeah. Hey. This is my last chance to change it, but I gotta go. Oh my gosh, my gut is saying James Madison. And I hate going against my gut, but I feel like App State. This is their luck doesn't run out this week. I feel like probably in the next few weeks maybe, but it's hard to come down for a high like that. And I feel like if they come down from a high after 2 weeks, it might be downhill for them for the rest of the year. But I think they'll
be fine the rest of the year. It's just like you look at spots like this, man, where you have game day there last weekend, and now you're playing a Division II opponent, and like I just think that you're going to practice feeling yourself all week, not worried about James Madison.
Yeah, this is really.
I'm nervous picking them. App State's obviously the better team in my opinion, but I just see it being a letdown.
Yeah, this is really a trap game for App State, honestly. All right, we're gonna go to our last game, and this could be a good game depending on what happens. This is Ohio State versus Wisconsin. This is in Ohio, in Columbus. Wisconsin is 2-1, and Ohio State is number 3 in the country, 3-0. This game is at 6:30 p.m. on ABC, primetime game for the night. Wisconsin just beat down New Mexico State University 66-7, and Ohio State just mollywopped Toledo this week with a 77-21 game. Graham Mertz is actually having a pretty decent year this year, 44 for 62 with a 71 percentage, and with 697 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. C.J. Stroud is having a career year. Honestly, I'm pretty sure I might have picked him to win the Heisman this year. I think he is, honestly. He's 62 for 85, 72.9% was basically 73% through the air. 941 yards this year with 11 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. This is an easy pick for, I'm going to say this is an easy pick for me, Ohio State. How do y'all feel about this game?
Yeah, I agree with you on this one. Ohio State's a 19-point favorite. I was looking at the sheet, this game to pick. I was hoping you would do Minnesota, Michigan State, because that would be a much more competitive game and could decide the Big Ten West. But, this is still like, for the last few years at least, it's been, Wisconsin, Ohio State's been like a pretty close game. But these are 2 separate teams. Wisconsin lost to an Arizona State team that just fired their head coach. And Ohio State is coming off being the best non-SEC team in the country with possibly the best quarterback and one of the best receivers in Marvin Harrison Jr. So I think Ohio State's going to absolutely steamroll them. It's going to be a classic Big Ten game of high-powered defense. So I'm going to say it's going to be maybe 31-10 in that kind of ballpark. It's not going to be a very high-scoring game like we saw with Ohio State putting almost 80 points up last week. But I still think that Ohio State's going to cover the spread and, go 4-0.
Will couldn't have said it any better, man. I completely agree. I think they covered the 19-point spread. And with C.J. Stroud, there's just weapons all over the field for Ohio State. Wisconsin's going to try to play that ball control stuff, and it's not going to work this year. But, that said, I don't think Ohio State's going to be running up the score. This is a team that struggled with Notre Dame. I get it was week 1, but we see what Notre Dame is now, a team that has now lost to a much inferior team in Marshall, and then they struggled with Cal last week. So I think Ohio State's not unbeatable, but Wisconsin's not the team to do so.
Yeah. I picked this game because, we have a brother's boy on Ohio State who actually played really good against Toledo. I'm pretty sure he had 100-plus yards and 2 or 1 touchdown. Dallin Hayden, Mr. Football, I'm pretty sure 2 or 3 years in a row in Tennessee. But I had to shine a light on him for this week. But, Jack, you have anything else to talk to us about? Because I know you love talking football, and college football is one of your favorites.
I just wanted to thank y'all so much for having me on. It was so fun tonight, and I look forward to coming on in the future, man. I'm super thankful, and blessed to have you on, and glad you started this, man. I'm proud of you, bro.
Oh, thanks, man. Hey, everyone, go check out Hampton Sports now. I want to say Hampton Hoops. It was catchy, man. You have to
it was catchy.
you have to
That
flip
was a
it
little
on us.
shake-up, man.
Hey, go buy some merch. Hey,
Yes,
go to
sir.
my boy Jack Hampton's Instagram. You want to plug that?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can go to my Instagram, you can go to my YouTube, my TikTok, either one. Just click the link in the bio. That 50K merch is out now. I'm excited, man. Hopefully to continue keep growing and watch you continue to grow as well, Bryce.
Hey, thank you for bringing me in the podcast game, man.
Dude,
I'm
absolutely.
trying to make you proud, my guy.
Yeah, dude. You make me proud all the time and dream chasing, man. Got to do it.
Thanks, man. Hey, you gotta tell Coop we gotta have him on here sometime this year.
Yes, for sure. And like I got with the camera and everything, we can get in next time you're in the M too. We can get one in as well. I got some extra mics laying around.
I got you.
Absolutely.
But thank y'all for watching this week. It should be a great week. This will be dropping on tomorrow, which is Friday. So on Saturday, the day after y'all watching this, hopefully that we have some good games. Hopefully, well, I think Will, me and you picked all the same team for the entire time, so it's not like I can jump ahead of you. But hey, hopefully we go undefeated this week. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Check out my guy Jag, and hey, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. If y'all follow us on Twitter, y'all actually get some live updates on the games we're watching. So leave a comment, like all that good stuff, and we'll see y'all next week. Deuces.